Want the fastest way to success? How to leverage the power of community. One of the fastest ways to success is to start creating community and stop creating chaos. Many people look at failure and successes in a vacuum. And in this video, we're going to solve that problem together. As the old saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child. And that sentiment doesn't stop once we get older. More to the point, success isn't based on an individual's actions. It's the culmination of many people working together toward a common goal. You want the fastest way to success? Then you'll want to observe your environment, determine whether that ecosystem is conducive to forward momentum, and you'll want to leverage the power of community. Alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much, said Helen Keller. Community is powerful. Leverage it and you'll achieve success. Fail to leverage it and you'll end up walking alone. And I assure you, there's no reason to walk alone along your path. Allow me to share a secret with you. By not just communicating with people, but rather by creating relationships and connecting deeply, you'll build a strong, unbreakable foundation. And success then isn't a challenge. It becomes inevitable. As my friend John Maxwell likes to say, everyone communicates, few connect. I encourage you to think about that or read that book if you haven't. If you want to be super successful, I encourage you to start connecting deeply. Build a community versus networking. It's so important. No matter what industry you're in, one of the keys to success is to build a network of contacts. We all know this. However, networking is largely misunderstood. How many business cards you collect or how many contacts you have should never be the goal. This is what gives networking a bad name. A network is merely a series of connections. Some connections will be strong and long-lasting, while others might stay for only a season. Even if you're excellent at meeting new people, networking runs deeper into these connections. That is, if you want those connections to become successful. That's where the community mindset comes in. A community might look similar to a network on the surface, but it's much more vibrant and more profound. Rather than having an old, outdated Rolodex of different contacts, a community is a collection of individuals who support and engage with one another, and they do it regularly. With a community mindset, you'll cultivate connections and nurture them consistently. These connections become relationships, and in turn, they become super valuable contacts. When it comes to community, the goal is not to get something tangible in exchange. It's to give something by serving and helping one another. The goal is not to get, it's to give. And if you haven't read the book by Bob Burg, The Go-Giver, I highly recommend it. With a networking mindset, you will only reach out to various contacts when it's prudent. For example, you might email them or call them to close a sale. It's more like prospecting, right? The primary distinction between a community and a network is the depth of value in these relationships. Networks are mostly transactional. Communities are based on trust. They're based on support. A simple way to differentiate these mindsets is that in a network, you're asking, what can you do for me? In a community, you're asking, what can I do for you? And that's a massive shift for some people. How can community expedite your success? Regardless of your position in life and business, chances are that you want to move to a higher level. Perhaps you're trying to start a business. Maybe you are hoping to get a raise or even a promotion soon. In all of these situations, you have to rely on others to reach your goal. Even if you build a business from scratch, the only way it can succeed is to have a supportive audience and happy clients or customers, right? Since your success rests on the input of others, building a community can have some powerful and tangible benefits. While a network might seem like it has more immediate reward sometimes, a community can create a much stronger foundation for the future. Here are a few ways that a community can help your success. Increase your knowledge. That's number one. In modern society, we've trained to believe that learning is something that happens inside a classroom. Even if you're not in school anymore, this mentality still permeates the professional world. Many still think if you want to learn a new skill set, you have to take a workshop or a class. However, learning is a continuous process that can happen anywhere at any time. One of the best ways to build a community is to seek out those who complement you. A perfect example of this can be a mastermind. In case you're not familiar with the term mastermind, it's a community centered around an individual or a group. Usually, a lot of people like to say like-minded people, usually the group focuses on a particular skill or knowledge base, such as real estate, e-commerce, or how to accelerate your business. The value of the mastermind is that attendees learn from those with experience in that field, rather than trying to get information online or just through books. A mastermind makes the information more digestible, understandable, and accelerates your growth. So, by surrounding yourself with individuals who either know more than you or have more experience, you can learn by association. Even if you don't create a formal curriculum within the community, you still absorb great information through connections and interaction. It's so powerful. Number two, great inspiration. One issue that can set professionals back is a lack of creativity. Everyone can experience creative slumps on occasion, which leads to a feeling like treading water. By connecting with the community, you tap directly into inspiration. In many cases, you won't have to go looking for it. A member of the group may already be moving in a direction you want to go. Seeing that person succeed or persevere can inspire you as well. Another benefit of community is that it's much easier to collaborate. Because success doesn't happen in a vacuum, you'll need to gain input from others to validate and refine your ideas. Often called group pulling. So powerful. If you don't have a vibrant and supportive community in place, collaboration is much more of a challenge. Encouragement and support. Isolationism isn't just a problem when you hit a creative wall. Another significant downside of operating solo is that you don't get the encouragement necessary to forge ahead. Even if you're excellent at bootstrapping or building yourself up, it's always better to receive positive reinforcement from other people, particularly those you trust. A community mindset is when you ask, "What can I do for you?" Fortunately, this mentality works both ways. As long as everyone within the community is motivated to help others succeed, support will always be accessible. Frankly, there's nothing greater to swiftly lead you toward success. Whether you need advice on a problem, maybe you need financial advice or emotional support, or want to brainstorm or bounce ideas off one another, a community can provide that kind of foundation and much, much more. Build your connections. Here's where a community and a network overlap. While the primary purpose of a community is not to ask context for favors and rewards, it is one of the natural side effects. When you invest time leveraging the power of community, the results are exponentially better than a traditional network. The reason community connections are more valuable is that you're nurturing and strengthening the relationships over time. By building trust within the community, members are more likely to come to you directly or even recommend you when it's possible. A network contact doesn't have that kind of loyalty since he or she doesn't have the degree of personal relationship. Unlimited community resources. While emotional and intellectual support is valuable, they can only take you so far. When you need more tangible assistance, like for example, strategy or marketing or labor, who can you turn to for help? With a community, you'll always have the resources when you need them. For example, if you need volunteers for any reason, you can ask community members rather than trying to get friends, family, or even strangers. How to leverage the power of community. That's what it's all about, right? Now that you know the value of community, how can you leverage the power? While there's no universal plan of action, I've compiled a few steps to get you started. Keep in mind that whether you build a community or leverage someone else's community, it takes time. Don't get discouraged if you don't see instant results. As long as you remain committed and work to serve other members, the community will form and your results will multiply. Step 1, be authentic. The goal of your community should not be to benefit yourself. I know that's strange. I want to say that again. The goal of your community involvement should not be to benefit yourself. While your success will be a side effect, that's what it is, a side effect of you giving. It should not be the primary intent or purpose. If you connect with the community for selfish reasons, it shows. It will never last. Instead, focus your attention on serving with a passion. If you're trying to start a business, what's the purpose behind that? Why do you want to be your own boss, for example? The better you know yourself and the more authentic your message, the easier it will be to connect with other people within the community. Step 2, be respectful, engaging, and build a community. It's not all that quick and easy. It can be challenging. Once you establish a connection with someone, take the lead to nurture it. Actually invest time in that. This doesn't mean that the community comes before your own needs, but be kind and respectful and engaging, and most of all, listen. Yes, listen. Listening is so important. One element to remember is that engagement doesn't have to be transactional. It doesn't have to be just professional. Part of the appeal of a community is that it forges authentic relationships. When you realize the power of relationships and community, of course, you may want to bring others in to get to know them better also. It's a great way to build the community and in turn, build your relationships. Step 3, stay organized. Having a goal for why you're in the community is good because it can help everyone stay focused. While personal relationships and interactions are a significant part of the community, this isn't a collection of friends at the park just trying to hang out. If you're the community founder, you can determine which goals are most relevant and keep everyone else on track. And if you're an individual contributor, it's best to be open and collaborative with your goals. Each member will have their personal reasons for joining. Overall, as a community member, you'll want to do your part to ensure that everyone involved is getting something out of the community, not just you. Want to leverage the power of community? If you are ready to see how community mindset and communities in general can help your personal and professional life, now is the perfect time to get started. I've been building teams and helping people just like you for years. My free community, Built for Brilliance, and my paid mastermind-style leadership collaborative communities can act as a springboard for you to launch your next stage of life and business. Reach out today to find out more, see if it's a fit, and to watch how the right community can rapidly transform your potential into unimaginable success. Cheers to your freedom, your wealth, and your brilliance. See you inside. Thanks for joining me.